Today our topic is Klinefelter syndrome. This is a genetic condition caused when someone has two X chromosome and one Y chromosome because people with the XXY chromosome arrangement have the Y chromosome. They are considered genetic males. Most XXY individuals develop as male, often not knowing they have the extra chromosome. The other name for the Klinefelter syndrome is 47XXY, XSY syndrome, XXY trisomy O or 3 plus X chromosome with Y. History of Klinefelter syndrome. It was first identified in 1942. By the late 1950s, the cause of the Klinefelter syndrome was discovered. In 1942, Dr. Harry Klinefelter and his co-workers at the Massachusetts General Hospital in the Boston published a report about the 9 men who had the enlarged breast, sparse facial and the body hair, small testes and the inability to produce sperms. By the late 1950s, the researchers discovered the men with the Klinefelter syndrome. In the early 1970s, researchers around the world sought to identify the males having the extra chromosome by screening the large number of the newborn babies. One of the largest of these studies checked the chromosome of more than 40% of the infants. The XSY syndrome's arrangement appears to be one of the most common genetic abnormalities known. Not a lot actually have the Klinefelter syndrome symptoms. Many men live out their life without knowing, ever suspecting that they have an additional chromosome. It is a state of male hypogonadism due to two or more X chromosome with one or more Y chromosome. Incidence is 1 in the 2000 live male birth. Karyotype is 82% of the classical 47XSY, 15% of mosaics, remaining polysomic individual. The frequency is approximately 1 in 500 to 1000. Causes of the Klinefelter syndrome. The extra X chromosome is retained because of the non-disjunction event during the meiosis 1 gametogenesis and meiosis 2 in females. In meiosis 1, there will be the gametogenesis. Non-disjunction occurs when the homologous chromosome X and Y fails to separate and producing the sperm with extra X and Y chromosome. In meiosis 1 gametogenesis, non-disjunction occurs when the homologous chromosome X and Y chromosome fail to separate, producing the sperm with the X and Y chromosome. Fertilizing the normal egg produces the XXY offspring. The XXY chromosome arrangement in one of the most common genetic variation from the XY karyotype occurs in about 1 in the 500 live male birth. Meiosis 2 in females. Another mechanism for retaining the extra X chromosome is through the non-disjunction event during the meiosis 2 in the female. Non-disjunction will occur when the sister chromatids on the 6th chromosome. In this case, an X and the X fail to separate, an XX egg is produced, which, when the fertilized with the Y sperm, yields the XSY offspring. There are several reasons why the chromosome would fail to separate during the meiosis or mitosis. If the centromere sequence is deleted from the chromosome, the kinetochore proteins will not be able to attach. The lack of kinetochore protein will not allow the microtubules to attach to the chromosome, which can result in the chromosome being randomly distributed to the resulting cells. There are spindle apparatus checkpoint during the cell cycle. If the chromosome do not align properly along the metaphase plate, the cell will perform the apoptosis. If this checkpoint is not present, the cell will continue through division with the incorrect chromosome alignment. This can result in the aneuploidy. The main error in the development that leads to the Klinefelter syndrome is the non-disjunction. This is when the chromosome do not separate correctly during the cell division. In the case of Klinefelter syndrome, the sex chromosome failed to separate, resulting in the extra X chromosome that is associated with this disease. While looking about the signs and symptoms, they vary by age. In babies, they have the weak muscle, slow motor development, taking longer than average to sit up, crawl and walk, delay in speaking, quiet, vocal personality and problems at birth such as testicles that are undescended testicles. In case of the language symptoms, they learn to talk late. They have trouble in expressing the thoughts and the needs. They have problems in reading and the trouble processing what they hear. Other symptoms also they have the normal sex life but cannot further children. They produce a much less testosterone. Taller than the average stature, longer legs, shorter toes, broader hips compared with the other boys. Absent, delayed or the incomplete puberty. After puberty, less muscular bodies and the less facial and the body hair compared. Small firm testicles not produces a sperm. Small penis, enlarged breast tissue, weak bones, shyness, difficulty in expressing feelings or socializing with people, attention problem with reading, writing, spelling and doing the calculations. In case of men, they have weak bones, wide hips, sparse facial and body hair, enlarged breast tissue, decreased sex drive or sexual problems, infertility, small testicles and penis, taller than the average stature, longer legs. Physical characteristics of the disorder may appear around the time of the puberty. Small people with the Klinefelter consider themselves to have the transgender, intersex and the transsexual due to having the more feminine appearance or the feminine emotions. Abnormally increased distance between the pubic ramus and the sole of feet. Lower body appears abnormally elongated, also called the innuate body habitus. Atrophied testes. This is a testicular biopsy. Atrophied hyalinized heminiferous tubules with no spermatogenesis. Lack of secondary sexual characteristics. Gynecomastia is seen. Mental intelligence is near normal. Greater the number of X chromosomes, lower is the level of intelligence. It is interesting of the Klinefelter's syndrome. Analogous XXY syndrome are known to occur in cats, especially the presence of calico, the spotted or the patty colored coat that is predominantly white with the patches of two other colors. Often the two other colors are orange, tabby and black, or the torticoshield markings in the male cat is an indicator of the relevant abnormal karyotype. As such, male cats with the calico or the torticoshield markings are a model organism for the Klinefelter's syndrome. Diagnosis is, if a doctor suspects the individual may be XXY based on the physical characteristics, most commonly infertility, the diagnosis can be made using the karyotype. A karyotype, this is the analysis of the patient's chromosome taken from the blood sample. It is diagnosed during the pregnancy by taking the amniotic fluid. The greatest chances to make the Klinefelter diagnosis are in the following times of life: before the shortly after birth, early childhood, adolescence, adulthood. For men in which the Klinefelter syndrome is suspected, a special blood test is recommended to confirm the Klinefelter diagnosis. Facts about the Klinefelter syndrome. About 10% of the Klinefelter cases are found by the prenatal diagnosis. Only a quarter of the affected males are recognized having the Klinefelter syndrome at the puberty. 25% received the diagnosis in the late adulthood. About 64% affected individuals are not recognized such. Often, the diagnosis is made accidentally as a result of examination and the medical visit for the reason not linked to this condition. Blood tests have been taken, called the karyotype, and it is a standard diagnostic method. Test looks at the person's chromosome. Prenatal testing. The many males have been diagnosed through the amniocentesis or the coronary pillar sampling. In amniocentesis, the sample of the fluid surrounding the fetus is withdrawn. CBS is similar to the amniocentesis. The procedure is done in the first trimester during the first month of the pregnancy. It is important to establish the foundation of the good health and the fetal cells. Need for the examination are taken from the placenta. Investigation test is plasma gonadotropin level, testicular biopsy, total sperm count and the karyotyping. Treatment. Testosterone treatment should be begin at the puberty. Can normalize the body proportion and promote the development of the normal secondary sexual characters, but does not lead the infertility, gynecomastia and the small testes. By 2010, over 100 successful pregnancies have been reported using the IVF technology with surgically removed sperm material from the men with the Klinefelter syndrome. The result of the study of the 87 Australian adults with the syndrome shows who have the diagnosis and the appropriate treatment from the very young age had a significant benefit with respect to those who have been diagnosed in the adulthood. IVF, in vitro fertilization. This is the process by which the egg is fertilized by the sperm outside the body. In vitro involves monitoring the woman's ovulatory process, removing the ovum or the ova from the woman's ovary, letting the sperm fertilize them in the fluid medium in the laboratory. When the women's natural cycle is monitored to collect the naturally selected ovum egg for the fertilization, it is known as a natural cycle. The fertilized egg is then transferred to the patient uterus and the intention of establishing the successful pregnancy. Epidemiology and the Klinefelter's syndrome. This syndrome evenly spread in all ethnic groups, has a prevalence of 1 to 2 subjects every 1,000 males in the general population. The result of the study of the 87 Australian adults with the syndrome shows who had the diagnosis and the appropriate treatment from the very young age, and the significant benefit with respect to those who had diagnosed in the adulthood. Thank you.